Another day in the gym because it's really cold outside, so I'm taking quite a few of my workouts in the gym. I'm still training outside, but obviously some days you just can't be bothered. It's cold and dark, and you just want to still train, but be a bit more comfortable. There's no need to be really hardcore. So starting off with this workout with handstands. This is something that I'm starting to really get used to. The handstand now is actually becoming a bit too easy, to be honest. I'm actually doing this with my legs on purpose. I'm trying to see if I can control my body weight and move my legs around in different shapes and stuff like that. Because if I just kick up and hold it every time, I won't know that I'm actually building strength because it might be luck. It also might be just a case of it being too easy. So what I'm doing is I'm deliberately shifting my body weight around in my hands, back and forward. So since I have the parallettes in this occasion, I'm able to grip it and I'm able to move my body forward and backwards. If I am able to move it forward and backwards on purpose and still stay in a handstand, then holding it straight should be no problem. At the moment, I'm just working on handstand press ups actually, but obviously to be able to do handstand press ups, you need to hold the handstand. So with that being said, I am just basically practicing the handstand, but I believe soon it will be just a case of practicing handstand press ups only. The reason why I'm still practicing the handstand is actually because I want to be able to do the handstand on higher bars and not have any sort of fear that I'm going to fall out. At the moment, I can do it. I have the strength to do it, but it only takes one um, bad fall for you to get injured, and yeah, you'll be out of training. So just playing it safe. Moving on to L sits. For those of you who don't know, I'm 6'2". I'm 187 centimeters tall, so my legs are quite long. So L sits are quite challenging. With that being said, though, I have been training them and I'm getting better at them. As you can see here, I'm holding it for a decent amount of time. I believe around 10 to 15 seconds is my average hold time. So despite having legs that, I don't know, average, or they're not skinny, that's for sure. And having long legs, I'm still able to hold the L sit pretty well. So that just goes to show that you shouldn't really make excuses, and that calisthenics is actually for anyone. Because as you'll see in this workout, I'll also be doing muscle ups without any leg movement as well. So a lot of people who say calisthenics is not for tall guys, they're kind of just making excuses in a way. It's definitely for tall guys. I would say you can actually use those long leverages to your advantage, because if you're tall and you can hold the front lever or L sit, you're going to have a much harder time than somebody who's short. And with that being said, I moved onto the compressions. So I done the upper body section there and then straight into the legs as like a drop set and a final set for my L sit. So that's just a tip. You can go straight from an L sit to the other ends of the movement. Moving swiftly on to muscle ups. I believe I'm the only one, at least in this clip, that can do muscle ups. So that's definitely, I don't know, boost my ego in some way. Not that it's the reason why I'm training, but yeah, I guess when you know that you're the only one who can do it, it makes you feel good some way. And actually, I did get asked by quite a few people how to unlock the muscle up, so I did help them as well. So yeah, I think the muscle up is definitely something that people like to learn. Me personally, I want to get really good at it because you can build your upper body strength, and you obviously, I mean, upper body strength is something you're going to build, but the reason why I want to get good at them is because it does your pulling muscles, which is your back muscles, and your pushing muscles, which is your chest muscle, all in one movement. So as you can see, there's a guy in the background doing pull-ups. He's only working his pulling muscles with that, which is still good. But as you can see here with the muscle up, you pull yourself up and then you push yourself away from the bar as well. Therefore, you're working pretty much every upper body muscle that there is to work. When you take it to the fact that I'm not really bending my legs, as you can see, just a small bend, this really makes it a brutal upper body workout. And I was quite sore the next day, especially in my chest, because a lot of people, they don't talk about they say that you need explosiveness for the muscle up, which is true, but they don't talk about the bottom of the dip part. So when you pull your body weight up, which you'll see here, as you can see at the bottom of the dip, if you pause the video right here, when I'm just dipping, like starting the dip, you can see that I'm in a very deep dip position. This really deep dip position is going to activate your pecs and really emphasize your chest, because a lot of the time when people do dips, they only go to 90 degrees and they do them with parallel bars. So they're not working the chest nearly as much as you would work it here on muscle ups. So that's just something to know. If you don't want to do muscle ups or you can't do them, just try doing straight bar dips with your lower chest touching the bar. You'll see how difficult they are if you've never done them before. And they're also just a really good exercise to boost your muscle up. So with that being said, I'm not sure what set this is, but I'm just trying to not use my legs whatsoever. Keeping it strict. Eventually, I do want to get to 10 reps of muscle ups with really strict form. I think it's a good target to aim for, and the number 10 in general is my aim for a lot of things. So in the long term, I want to do 10 seconds of front lever, 10 muscle ups, 10 handstand press ups, and those are kind of my 3 goals for the next 2 to 3 years. And once I master those, I'll add on some more movements. But I believe I'll get there soon. My PB on muscle ups at the moment is 8, and I am training them quite diligently. So I think I'll get to 10 reps some point soon. I'm not sure exactly when. So yeah, just kept doing them. To be honest, with the muscle ups, it's a movement that you have to practice, even if you're really bad at it. The only way to get better at it is to practice it. And I know that's easier said than done, because trust me, there's been times when I'm doing muscle ups and I'm just like, oh, do I really have to keep doing this? But there's only one way to get better, and that's to keep practicing. Swiftly moving forward from something that is quite demanding to another demanding exercise, actually, especially when you're on your toes the entire time. As you can see here, I'm on my toes. This shifts my body weight off my heels and puts a lot of pressure on my shoulders, making the movement even harder. I do have like a little tip for you guys or anyone watching. Basically, when you do pike press ups, imagine that. So as you can see, let me just show you now. As you can see, I'm staring at the ground before I push back up. Here, I'm staring at the ground and I push back up. When I'm staring at the ground, the only thing I'm thinking of is that I'm doing handstand press ups. Now, to some people, that might seem a bit, weird. Why are you thinking that you're doing handstand press ups? That's just being delusional. I obviously know that I'm not doing them, but if you think that you're doing handstand press ups when you're in this position, you'll be able to lean forward, in my opinion, a little bit more, and you'll be more enthusiastic about training the pike press up. If you're doing the pike press up, it's already an exercise that is easier than a handstand press up or a feet elevated pike press up. So you can get quite tired of doing them. But if you just pretend that, you're doing a handstand press up, when you're starting to look at the ground, just pretend that your feet are in the air, you can get quite, it can become more interesting, and you can get quite motivated by that, because you know that eventually it will actually become the reality. And me, myself, I used pike press ups quite a lot, and I have unlocked the handstand press up, but obviously I want to still strengthen my shoulders, and pike press ups works for that. To wrap up this workout, I just did some core. This is an underrated movement. I don't see a lot of people doing it. It's basically X's and O's. So you basically open up as much as you can with your feet and your hands, and you close in. And when you close in, you're going to feel like a squeeze on your abs or contraction on your abs. So that's really good. And to be honest, yeah, I really like this exercise. I feel it on my abs, and I actually get a good ab pump, which is feels a bit strange, but it's definitely worth doing. I think in general with core, a lot of people, they do stuff like muscle ups or pull ups or variations of big body movements, but the core aspect of training, I don't want to say cannot be neglected, because to be honest, you can do what you want. Your training is yours to do, and you do whatever you want in your training. But I would definitely say, if you're serious about your training, and if you're serious about getting stronger, and you don't want to be one of those people who has good muscle upper body development, but the abs are really bad, then definitely train your core. There's so much benefit from training your core. For example, your posture and everyday movements is better. You have better balance. You have less likelihood of injury in anything, pretty much. And specifically referring to calisthenics, all the exercises become easier once you strengthen your core, because your core is like the bridge between your upper body and your lower body. And if that bridge is strong, then it's easier for you to transfer your force. So when you're doing pull-ups, it'll be a lot easier, and muscle-ups and anything that requires explosive power. And with that being said, that's this episode, and I'll join you on the next episode. Subscribe.